Welcome back to CrossFit Garage. I'm back. Yeah. So, just ended the last video, and what we're doing on this episode is these guys. Fuel injectors. 96 Ford F350, 7.3 Power Stroke diesel. So, I'm getting some drivability issues. Seems like I dropped 2 fuel injectors while I was driving on vacation, and kind of limped my way home, or more like shook my way home. So what we're doing is we're yarding all these out and one by one going through and rebuilding them. And in fact, I've already rebuilt one. I took one out, did a trial run, rebuilt it, just got done with this guy. Everything went great. These are not as hard as you think to actually rebuild yourself. Don't be too scared. Don't rely on another company to, you buy a reman kit of these, upwards of $3,000 I see them. You don't need to spend that kind of crazy amount of money. Now, sure, if you're not equipped like I am, and you're doing this in your driveway, I could see you want to, get it done in a weekend and get back to work on Monday. Okay, I can kind of understand that. But it's not that complicated. $100 for the rebuild kit is not bad. Your other option is $3,000, like I said. That's just not my cup of tea. I don't want to do that. I'd rather spend my money somewhere else on other projects when I have the ability to rebuild it myself. So, I'm going to show you around and show you kind of what I've got going. I'm going to go set this guy down because I don't want to break it. And also, bear with me, I'm running without my mic today. I have seemed to misplaced it. So now I've already gone ahead and taken the valve cover off and drained the oil reservoir, which this is the oil rail is what it is. And I've taken off the valve cover gasket with the electrical in it. And I'm going to be actually changing. So when you do all this, you might as well change it. Grab yourself some valve cover gaskets, and they also come with the new pigtails. So you'll put the new wiring pigtails on. Because these are all very fragile, just brittle as can be. I've already broken one on the other side and had to temporarily glue it back together. Maybe that could be some of my issue. But anyway, I'm not seeing any blue smoke or white smoke or anything, so I know I didn't blow any seals on any of these fuel injectors. I know my cups are good because, again, my fluid level on my coolant reservoir tank would be going down and I'd be blowing white smoke. So I know that's not an issue. So we're just going to overlook those and pretend that those are good. Yeah. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this fuel injector. I've already pulled this one, already rebuilt this one. So you loosen up the bolt here. This slides up, and then you get underneath there with the pry bar and you just gently and pops out. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll meet you over at the bench. Alrighty, let's start this over again because I was about 3/4 of the way of disassembling a fuel injector to show you guys how to do that, and went to move the camera, hit the power button, and shut it off. Yeah, my bad. Anyway, so I pulled another one. We're going to start this process all over again. You can hear back there, I've got a sonic parts washer. Everything's already cooking. So sorry for the noise. It's kind of an annoying sound. I'll show you what I got going here. this is kind of the layout for the workbench here. I've got, obviously, even the noisemaker here, the Sonic parts washer. Got the solution to go with it. And brake cleaner, definitely. You want brake cleaner. Plenty of towels around. You want your shop air. You're going to need picks. Good set of picks. Plastic picks, if you can find them, would probably be ideal because then you won't scratch anything while you're in there. This is the kit that I ordered. Ordered it off of Amazon. So yeah, it is the cheaper kit, but I'm happy with the seals that I'm seeing. There, except for one part that came with the kit. I'll tell you about that in a second. This is the external O-ring kit. You got the check balls. You got the internal seals. You have the 2-spring kit. You have the shims to go underneath the solenoid here. So and then it comes with all the tools that you're going to need. You just need a trusty screwdriver to put it in. There's the fuel injector that we're going to be working on. This is the tool that came with it. It's garbage. I absolutely hate it. This was actually the bracket, and this is just a thin aluminum, and I literally twisted that thing into a pretzel trying to take the fuel injector apart. I took it apart, straightened it out, put it back together, and tried to put a fuel injector back together and retorque it to 75 foot-pounds and twisted that thing into a pretzel again. So I ended up having to take that off, feed it flat, so I could use it as a template and get some plate steel and make my own bracket. And then one of the pins that comes with it is sheared off too. So I absolutely hate that tool. It's garbage. There's other kits online that are a lot better. It's fuel injection 406 or something like that, rebuild kit. They actually have a big solid, I think it's aluminum, but that's okay if it is, block. And it has a big hole drilled into it, and it's tapered for the nozzle to fit down inside there. And then you have 2 pins that you push in, and you can put it in your vise. And yeah, that's a whole lot better than this setup. This setup is garbage. So I see a lot of these on eBay and Amazon. So just be aware. It's a decent kit for the material wise, except for the tool. The tool is just garbage. So then it also comes with this tool. I'll show you what that's for in a few minutes. So I'm gonna show you here. So this is basically my setup. So I have a clean box for my clean tool, clean parts to go back in, or rebuilt fuel injector as I'm storing it in there. I have a lid for those to kind of keep the dirt, debris out of there. Right now it's okay. This is my parts bin. This is the unusable parts that you're going to be taking out of the old fuel injectors. You have motor oil, you have diesel fuel, and you have carburetor cleaner in these 3 trays here. And I'll show you what to do with those guys. And then obviously parts washer, so that's everything's going to go in there. Well, most of the stuff is going to go in there. So I'm going to show you. Let's jump in here. I'll show you how this, hard to see what I'm looking at here. Okay, I'm going to show you this garbage tool in action here. So these holes here align with the pin in this arm. Then you swing this other arm in, push the pin into that hole, and then you tighten the whole thing up into a vise. There you go. Now you have it. It'll move this way, but when you're unscrewing everything, it will hold it nice and tight. Now you go to your toolkit that came with the kit. Find your, nope, that's not the one. Is it? No, this one. Find the tool that makes things come apart. This one works just fine. Now, because I was doing this one at a time, and I ruined the footage, I'm going to be putting these in trays to keep everything with its corresponding unit. There we go. So this is the solenoid. This actually creates a magnetic pulse and actually pulls on this. Now there's something interesting that I didn't want to see. Get you in here. You see how this is crooked and it's actually hitting on the spacer here? It's not supposed to be like that. And also, if you look right there, you see that? That is a shim that somebody left in there. Let's see if I can't. Look at that. Right there, and I don't know if you can see it. Tip of my finger. Let's see if I can't get it to stick. That's a shim. Okay? So this fuel injector had been rebuilt at one time, and somebody messed it up. This is not supposed to be crooked and hitting the backside of the, you can probably see a wear mark right there. And this, if this gets underneath this, it's not going to allow it to go up and down like it needs to. So, that's interesting. So that could be some of my problem that I'm having. Yeah. Really, really interesting. I've never found that before. That's a new one. We're going to take that guy, and we're going to put her down here on the junk plate. We're going to move on to the next tool here. Hopefully I grabbed the right one. And you want to grab, oh, and then I knocked it off anyway, so it doesn't matter. You want to grab your Mexican socket set there. Crescent wrench. We're going to take this guy. I'm knocking stuff over. Take that screw, throw it in your junk pile. Take this part, you're going to throw it in your parts bin, so parts washer. So I'm actually going to start another lid here. So this will go in parts washer. I'm going to move these guys down. So we'll use two ends of this cleaner solution here. So I'll know one fuel injector is on this side, one fuel injector is on this side. Alrighty, now we're going to go grab the other tip. Now this is spring loaded, so there's a spring underneath here. Don't be surprised. Oh, towel here, my hands are oily. I'll just break them free. That's a good traction device right there. And we're going to just take these bolts out and throw them directly into the carb cleaner right there, sitting on the workbench. Now you're going to gently pull up, kind of give it a shake. There's that spring. We're going to take those guys, 4 screws, set them on that end of the tray there. Now inside of here, you want to push it out. There's this little guy, and it has a spacer on it as well. This will go into the parts washer. Inside this block here, grab a booger hook. There's a seal, an O-ring right there. Just grab that guy, Pull it out. That will go in the parts washer as well. That goes in the old bin. You can take this guy out. Now I'll show you something with this guy. We'll just set that aside for a second. We're going to pull the old spring out. This gets discarded. We will not use that again. You'll grab the poppet valve. You'll pull the poppet valve out. And this whole assembly is the oil side of the fuel injector. Down here is the fuel side of the fuel injector. So these run off of oil. So now you can grab this tool, because with this kit comes this guy, and this plate bolts to this. Now I'm not going to bolt it to show you, but I'm just going to go ahead. Boy, that sucker is tight. In fact, too tight. Yeah, that's crazy. That should be 75 foot-pounds of torque on that, and that is not. That is a lot more. So we're gonna switch gears here, because I don't want to bend that plate that they sent me. And there you go. Now I'm breaking my tool. Awesome. We're going to take the fuel injector out. I just literally snapped my bolt. So, yeah. Good times, good times. So whoever rebuilt that fuel injector sucks. I'm not happy with. You're on my shit list now. And I do know at one time I did take this into Ford and have them do a fuel injector. So that would have been the only person that would have done that with the Ford dealership. Obviously, they just ordered it from somebody who did a quick rebuild on it. I'm going to have to take a pause. I got to get a new bolt to go in here, and I will be back. Okay, I'm back after breaking the bolt twice. I threw in a heavier bolt, had to redo my pin because I was just shearing this thing up. This thing was way tight. And now I've got it. Now this is spring loaded. It's not going to shoot off of here, so don't think that. But it does have spring pressure underneath. So there you go. Now you have it out. Gently lift up, and now you can take this assembly over to your workbench. You can take. Let's get you in here. This is where I lost you last time. So I'm just going to not touch the camera. Well, that's the hope anyway. So we're going to take this. This is a rod and a spring. The rod and spring you are going to reuse. That goes in your parts bin. This guy down here has a locating pin, longer locating pin. Another longer locating pin. Pull that out. Stick your trusty tweezers down in there. Oh, we started pulling assemblies here with it. We're gonna knock that off there. Okay, so then you got this assembly here, and I'll show you what to do with this guy in a minute. Down in there is a kind of a metering plate. That'll go in the parts washer. Then you have another long locating dowel. Should have another one down in there too. Yeah, where are you here? Ah, you little bugger, get out of there. These sometimes are kind of difficult to, there we go. So this metering valve actually flipped over on me. It's got a little plate that goes in there. I'll show you it as soon as I find it. There's the other longer pin. I'm going to take the longer pin, throw that in the carb cleaner. This has also got a ball joint, or check ball. Why can't I talk? Ball joint. Check ball that goes in there, and it does sit in there just like that with the pins coming through and that little plate. And I'll show you. There's the check ball. It fell down in there. Throw the check ball away. There's the little plate that came out of that metering plate. We're going to stick that in the carb cleaner because it's just too small. Then all the way down in there, hopefully you can see, all the way down in there is yet another spring that doesn't look, well, looks like it might be collapsing a little bit. But that is going to be discarded anyway. We have a new one. And there's a little rod, stopper rod, so you can't compress too far. And nope, can't. We're gonna have to dump out the rest. It's just not seeming to work for me. Loosen the vise here. Make sure you keep your hand on this, because if you drop this and you break the nozzle, you're going to be ordering new parts. So, let me get you back over here. Oh, hey, thankfully that thing stopped, that noisy thing. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to dump. Now we got the metering rod and a plate that actually sits on top of the metering rod. Now look, there's wear marks. You can see the wear marks. The wear mark in this is right directly in the center. Wear marks on it are more towards the outer edge of this one. So that's where you can see basically, and then the spring sat on top. Now, this metering rod, I like to take the metering rod and take a little bit of steel wool and just kind of clean it up a little bit. Now's my chance before it goes into the parts washer. And we're going to put it in the bin for parts washing. This guy here, you're going to grab your booger hook. You're going to pull that clip off of there. And right there is another check ball. Discard that guy. These go into the parts washer. This guy goes into the carb cleaner. Now we're down to the tip. It's got this little crush copper gasket on it. And I just kind of like to walk it off of there. I've seen people, they turn them around and beat down on it with, you know, bam, bam, bam. And you'll break the tip. Do not do that. I recommend you don't. Stay away from that. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to shimmy off there because of the carbon. But you will get it eventually. Sometimes just push down with your thumb and it pops right out. This is your nozzle. There's little holes in there. That's where the fuel sprays out. Now you have the spacer block that pulls out as well. and you've got, would be 2 smaller pins. Locating pins is what those are. And you're going to stick this guy in the parts washing bin, in the discard. I do like to clean up my nozzles before they go into the parts washer, just to ensure they come out cleaner. I know you don't have to, but you know, all the carbon on there. Because this does stick down inside the combustion chamber. They're not looking bad, besides finding the spacer underneath the solenoid on that one, which could be some problems. The other thing I'm also noticing here, kind of a torn O-ring. Looks like it's kind of mushed right there. So luckily it was not leaking. We'll look at the seals. Oh yeah, there you go. This definitely is a rebuilt injector, because it has this style of a O-ring. The factory OEM originals had 2. It had an O-ring and then a flat, kind of a square O-ring that went around there. There was 2 there. This one takes the place of that. So this is actually, this tells me this has been rebuilt. Interesting. Oh, these things are a bugger to get off. Yep. The single style, which we're going back with the single style too, as the newer style O-ring. And just pull these guys off, because we don't need them. Discard those in there. So this unit right now is ready to go in the parts washer, and that brings us to this guy. Now, this inside of here is a piston. You take your air. There's a hole right there. There's even a little cutout notch for it. Stick your air in there. Don't make a liar out of me now. All right, let's try a different tip here. There we go. Piston out. All right, that will go in the parts washer bin. So down inside there, I know you can't see, the lighting is absolutely horrible, but there is actually an O-ring. So without destroying the bore or the seat, these are a bugger to get out. I just stab it and there you go. O-ring out. Don't need that. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave those guys on there for now. Those all can go in the parts washing bin. And then we've got this guy. Check on it. Yeah, it's looking good. I'm gonna do one more cycle of those. I'm gonna go probably pick up the kids. Move me back here. Move you up. So I'm gonna go clean up a bit and go pick up the kids, cycle this one more time. I usually do 2 cycles per fuel injector, and then we'll just go through and make sure everything's nice and clean, and we'll start the rebuild of that said fuel injector. And then we also already have another one ready to go in, so that's kind of neat too. Alrighty, I will be back shortly. Alrighty, I'm back. I picked up the kids. Actually, Aiden's out here with me. Say hi.
Hi.
Yeah, they probably couldn't hear you. He says hi. He's busy doing his own project. So here we are. I moved the parts washer off into the background there. You probably could still hear the buzzing, but that was just getting too annoying. So here's the parts that we have that came out of the parts washer. So what we're going to do, we are going to put this guy in the diesel fuel, this guy in the oil. Well, we don't really need to put that in there. We need to put these guys in the diesel fuel. Plop, plop. Metering rod, diesel fuel. The tip, we can just drop that in for a minute or two. This guy, we'll put in the oil. Hold around, stick it in there. That guy can stay out. This guy, oil, face down. And we're eliminating parts here. This guy, poppet valve in the oil. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our main body. We are going to grab, I can open it with these. Yep, there we go. We're going to grab out one of those guys. We're going to lube her up with some oil. And we're going to shove her down inside of here. Now you want to shove it past the groove. There's a hair in there. Don't want that. Shove it past the groove, and then we're going to start one side. Come on, you slippery little bugger. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to grab a pick, and we're going to actually start pulling it back up. As we start pulling it back up, she'll find her home. It's not doing that for me. That pick is too big. You gotta kind of figure out which one works best. Gently start pulling it up. As you start pulling it up, it starts falling into the groove. Well, these are our bugger. Too slippery. Maybe don't put as much oil on it as I did. I pulled it up too far. There we go. Now it's seated. Fully popped in there. Now we take our plunger and we stick it down all the way inside of there. So that is done. Now we need to get this seal off. That seal's off. But I kind of like to run, because I could still see some remnants of the old O-ring on there. I don't know where it stuck because of heat. I just run that around there, clean it off, blow some air on it, and I'm going to grab, oh, it's not in that pack, it's in this pack. I'm going to grab a seal. Oh, shop dogs are back. I'm going to walk this seal on there. And then I like to take a pick, very gently, get underneath it, up, and just walk it all the way around to make sure the seal is straight. It's not rolled over on itself. Okay. So we got that done. These we can change out after we get it assembled. It really doesn't matter. I can change those out real quick. I might as well just go ahead and do that. I'm here, I might as well. So remember the order. Metal, metal, the square, and then the round. This board doesn't look too bad. Alright. Grab, this is our external seal kit. We're going to grab metal, square, round. Oh, metal goes on first. Oh yeah, don't do that. Don't want that to happen. Okay. And then there's some oil on there. This is the square. Oh man, why do I keep doing that? I'm prepared though, I keep catching it. Okay, we got the square on there. It didn't roll. Okay, let's see if we can not do that with this time. Alright. And then I do the same thing. Just make sure that it straightens it all out. Didn't roll. So there is that. Done. Okay. Now let's get this guy off of there. The cup seal. Don't need that. Those go bye-bye. Actually, they all go in the pile over there. And then this. Now this, you see how there's two seals here? Like I was talking before. This is the single seal that goes on there now. That's the new style. This is the old style. Had two. So we're going to get rid of that. Plot that guy right on there just like that. Okay. Okay, same thing. I'm going to straighten this seal out. Just in case it rolled on me when I did that. There we go. Cup seal in. Okay, that part's done. Now I like to set that down just like that. And we're going to reach over here in the diesel fuel. We're going to pull out the nozzle. Now, you're looking at me kind of going, oh yeah, nozzle. All right, if you guys watch this close. That's how you know your nozzle is clean. Did you see the spray? Hopefully you saw the spray. Okay, we're going to put that down just like that, face down. We're going to come in here in the diesel. We're going to pull the metering rod out. And we're going to slide that face down. And we're going to make sure it goes up and down nice and easy. And it does. So we're good. Now, we are going to find, oh, bummer, the camera's kind of in my way here. So I'm going to move this tray over here to me. I'm going to grab you, the small pin, and we're going to put, oh, why am I grabbing that? No, the small pin, okay? There's two bigger holes and a smaller hole. You're going to put the pin in the bigger holes. My fingers will work. Yep. There we go. All right, and we got that in place. Now, what I like to do, most people don't, but that's fine. I'm different. I like to be. There's this little disc. This little disc of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah. And set that sucker right down there just like that, and try to center it. Center it as fast as you can, because you're going to be putting the spacer block right over top. You're going to line that hole with that hole, and really there's only one way it can go on there, just like that. Okay, now we're going to reach into our magic bag of tricks. We're going to pull out a spring, a new spring. Comes with the kit. Oh, throw that in the oil. Oh, throw that in the diesel. What am I thinking? Throw that in the diesel fuel. Got a little oil in the diesel, so that's good. Now we're going to grab this pin. We're going to drop that right down the center. Plop. Now we're going to grab... Yes. Interesting. A cup. Alright, good.
I made the cup into a thing that holds pen.
Yeah. So we're going to do the longer pins. Leaving that hole open to line up with the bottom hole. That's where diesel fuel goes down. Alrighty, and then we're going to grab our I don't know what you call this. But it's going to have a ball valve in it. So we're going to put a new ball valve in. in here, grab one of these little slippery guys. Ah, I can't grab one to save my life. You little buggers, you. Damn. Oh, well, it's magnetized. Okay. I don't have to grab it at all. There we go. We got that stuck in there. Now we're looking for this little guy. Another little round disc with a hole in it. Okay. We're gonna stick that guy right there. Plop that sucker in there. Okay, now we're gonna go and we're gonna put this cover on real quick. This is the cover for that. You can see the marks on it where things were positioned, lined up. I like to run in the same orientation it came apart. So now we got that assembly done. Now you can take that assembly, hold it by the nozzle, okay, and you can kind of stick your finger on there, and there's a gap there, and you can just start walking that up in there and plop it in there just like that. And then now technically we should put it in our tool, our vise tool, but we'll do that in a second. Right now we're moving on to, I'm going to put a ball bearing check ball in this guy, and we're going to put the retaining clip on there. Now try not to miss and send that ball pew all the way across the shop, because that would not be fun. So now technically we can drop that puppy right down. There's the two holes. If you line it up and drop that puppy down in there, and try to align. I'll push it out a little so you can. I wonder if I can do that. Nah, darn it. I knew better, but I was trying to get fancy and show you guys. Yep. Not my joy this moment. But it's okay, because I know how to put this back together. Other way, other way.
These tinier gloves. Do you have any tinier gloves?
No, those are big gloves.
I need tinier ones.
Those are big gloves.
To make. I need tinier ones to make something.
Okay. So now you got the whole assembly. Now you can see the whole assembly, and that's the internal guts. Now I don't recommend you actually doing this. I got hair on it. I don't want hair on it. But that's, now I'm going to separate them, and I'm going to put this all back together now again. But I wanted to show you guys just kind of how it works. Okay, maybe not in, that's in, that's in, that's in, and then we'll since this is already still assembled. Just pop that guy on there. Push my needles down on there just like that, and then we'll reassemble. We'll just put the whole unit back in. Okay, but I wanted to show you guys that sits flat on there. Alrighty, now we're gonna line those guys up again. So when you turn the nozzle, it should turn the whole assembly. Okay, that means you're fully locked in with those pins. They're positioning pins, is what they are essentially. So, all right, now dry my hands off here. Now this guy. So now we've got all this assembled, and we will. I'm going to move to the the vise here. Alrighty, so I've already got that piece in there, and then you put 2 more long locating pins in to line everything up. You take your spring and your rod here, you put that down the center, make sure it works freely. Now you take your assembly, and you have 2 locating holes there and your 2 locating pins there, and you'll take that, set that down there, and I like to push up just a little on the nozzle and see how it just kind of clicked in, fell in. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to hold pressure up and start screwing this down. And by pushing up on that nozzle, it keeps all the locating pins in from falling out. Once you get it in so far, you can relax a little. The nervous part is over. We're just going to walk this thing all the way down until it stops spinning on me right there. Take my tool with my retainer on there. Stick it on there. Put your hand on there, because if you break your tool, you don't want this to fall down on the ground and break the nozzle. We're going to take it all the way up. Try to get a good position on it. There it is, 75 foot-pounds. And we didn't break the tool, so hey, cool. It means 3rd time's a charm. So now we're going to take our tool apart here, because I need the retainer. Don't forget to put the retainer on. If you do, you're tearing it back apart. Now, your retainer, the recessed part up, and then you have an oil valve, oil hole there, and this tapered part goes towards the hole, and that'd be the front of the fuel injector. Now we take our block, okay, and we push our seal into our block. Try to line her up. Now don't push her through. There we go. There we go. And we're going to grab a can, grab it. This little doodad with the washer, and we're going to push it up from the back side. This is the top side. These are the recess for the bolts. And just like that, it snaps in. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our poppet valve assembly and we're gonna put it in. A little oil. Get her all oiled up there. And make sure she's nice and free. She moves up and down because that's what it does. That magnet sucks it up, opens up the oil flow, and the oil flow goes in and opens up the springs and everything inside there, which opens up the metering rod. That's how that works. And then you have fuel that sprays in. Alright, now you take your block and you take a new spring and get the bag open. And this is your big spring. Roll it in oil. Take it, plop it on there. Just like that. Hang on, bud. That's a string line for building fences and building houses, straightening out walls, stuff like that. Yep. Foundations, all sorts of stuff. Okay, so now you got a hole, which is just your exit, your exhaust for your oil port, and that goes forwards. And then we just slide that guy on there and make sure that when you bounce it up and down, she moves freely. And in fact, she does move freely. Okay, now we grab our bolts here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And start putting our bolts in. And these are the torque drives. The big torque drive. The big torque drive is already in the screwdriver. So I like to push down and screw it in until it touches, and then I do all four just so they all line up. You don't get cross thread. I know it's in the name of my show here, but and it's Nature's Loctite, but I don't want to do that on this. Get my anti-slip device. And just give the old hand click, 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 click. There we go. Now, make sure your surface is clean. You put this little doodad back on there with your new bolt. It's provided in the kit. Now, this is where you're going to be probably taking that thing off again. So be prepared. I just snug it. We're going to grab our feeler gauge here. This is a 2000. This is a 4000. Yep. 4000's dragging. Really hard. This is the 2000. 2000's not bad, so I think I'm going to go up 1000. 1000. Where's my 1000? Do I have a 1000? I don't know. I want to say I've got only 2,000.
Look what I built.
Hang on, bud. I'm finishing up a video here. These are the small holes. So we'll throw 2,000 in there and see what if it likes it or not. Hoping it's not too much. I'm going to set this right on top of there. Make sure your bolt goes through the shim. Okay, well, make sure you're putting it on the right way. 2,000 floats right in there. 4,000. Just drags just a tiny little bit. That's perfect. That's what we want. So now I'm going to take this and we're going to click. There you go. We're going to check it again. Yeah, 4,000. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our spacer. I like to make sure that this is as straight as possible. I'm not hitting the spacer. And now I don't need shims on this because I only went 2,000. We'll drop this guy right on there. Like so. Which one is it? This guy? Don't over torque on any of these because you can strip them out. Okay, now don't get too excited. You're not done yet. You're almost done, but you're not done yet. We're going to open this guy up, take this guy out, set it on the bench. Upside down. Now watch the nozzle here. You have a copper gasket that goes on there. Now it has dimple on one side, recess on the other. You put the recess down. Everybody says to put a little bit of tacky grease on there. Hold it in place because you don't want it to fall down inside your cup. When you put it on, now this is the nervous part that I just do not like, because you break that nozzle and it's done for. Get a little mallet here. It is a pressed fit, isn't it? Oh yeah, pinch your glove in there. And there we go. So that, my friends, is your rebuilt 7.3 Power Stroke diesel fuel injector. Not too bad, is it? Not too scary. So I'm looking forward to putting these back in. But for now, I'm putting it in the bin. I'm going to cover them up for the night. And I have to go eat some dinner. So, I will bring you back when I get more done. And hopefully get this thing knocked out in a day, well, 2 days maybe. Hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Takes a while to cook them in the cleaner. So, that's basically your biggest drawback. But you possibly could, if you really focused and did it, you possibly could do it in a weekend. So just remember that if you have to get to work on Monday, start as early as you can Friday after work and buckle down and do them. So, alrighty, and then I'll also bring you back in for doing the valve cover gaskets and the wiring. That's going to be fun. I think that's harder than that. So, alrighty. I'll see you soon. Welcome back, everybody. Well, all 8 fuel injectors are rebuilt. I feel pretty confident in them. I'll tell you why, because I've already tested it and it runs. But I did go ahead and make the executive decision without you. Yeah, I know. Blame me later. To just get rid of the old wiring. It's so brittle. In some places that rats have actually chewed on it, we don't need that. The kit comes with, the valve cover kit comes with new connectors for the valve covers, but you have to splice them in. But when you do that, this particular wiring harness actually is a shielded wiring harness. So it actually has shielding that goes around the wires for the fuel injectors themselves to keep for any cross interference. So you don't accidentally have ones firing when they're not supposed to be firing. So when you do that, when you cut it open and you put in butt connectors, splice, solder joints, that's all I use, solder joints, but still it opens you up to cross interference. So go spend a little bit of money, get a whole new wiring harness. This thing's 29 years old, it needs it anyway, and that fixes most drivability issues right there. So you know, before you actually pull out fuel injectors, you know, try that first. Throw a wiring harness at it for 110 bucks and see what happens. I bet you might be surprised. But I knew my fuel injectors were bad, and they were. I got in there, I found 4 fuel injectors that the springs were broken. So I knew right there, you know, and 29 years old, it needed all new seals anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off. Well, let me show you what I got going on first before I do that. I still have things opened up. I don't have the valve covers on yet. Don't have the intake, you know, for the breather on. So I still got them opened up. So I can sit here and I can watch the fuel injectors fire. Now, how you tell when the fuel injectors fire is oil sprays out of the little exhaust ports for the oiler. So every time you see a spurt, spit and splatter, and that means it fired. So the procedure on putting these back in, I did not show. You put them back in, kind of lightly bump them in, lock the retainer in, put your bolt in, tighten to spec. Now take the glow plugs out, all of them. And then I put my oiler, they've got the little drain plugs down in here. I put those back on there, put the drain plug back in there. Just closed up the oiling system, and then you roll it over. 5 seconds, 5 times. So, and that blows out anything that was in the cylinders. Another thing, what I was doing is when I pulled them out, when I went to pull them out, what I would do is I'd stick a vacuum down there as soon as I got one fuel injector out, let it run for a couple of minutes. It sucks all the oil that is leaking into that cylinder, sucks it into the vacuum instead of going into the cylinder. You don't want to hydrolock this and do damage, as then you're rebuilding the motor. So take all your glow plugs out and roll it over. 5 seconds, 5 times, at least. Don't burn up your starter though. Mine's already kind of sticking and acting up. Anyway, then hook everything back up, put your glow plugs back in, and you can run it like this. You're not going to get too much oil everywhere. And I'm going to go ahead and kick it over for you. It's just priming the system is what it's doing. There's my starter. There we go. Built pressure and fired. Voila! Listen to that baby purr. Idling smooth. I'll try to get you guys down in here. Hopefully you can hear me. I'll try to show you what I mean by an oil. You can't really see it, but oil is going to squirt out of here. You can see a little bit of shining right there. That's oil squirting out of this injector every time it fires. That's how you know this is working. If the injector is not firing, you will not see oil. Yeah, because that plunger will not be, that poppet valve will not move. It has to move in order for the oil to come up and go through and out the exhaust. I'm pretty happy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and button it up and try to clean everything up as best as I can. And then we'll take it for a road test. See what happens. Well, there you go, folks. A wrap to another project. I did not test drive it yet. I lost my little fuzzy thing. Oh. Laying over there on the ground. Anyway, I did not test drive it yet. It's getting kind of late in the day. I'm wrapping up for the night. Just cleaned up the shop. Got everything organized again. Dang. I'm thankful for that. Things are getting messy. This thing's been sitting out here for about 25 minutes, just sitting there idling, purring like a kitten. So I suspect that there's not going to be any issues. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'll take it out, hot rod it around a little bit and see if I can't. There's still air trapped in the system, of course, fuel and oil. So you got to run them out. It could take up to 100 miles to actually get all that air out of there. So I got some time to do that, but meanwhile, I can go ahead and book my vacations for the summer so I can tow the trailer around. I'm happy. Thanks for joining me, folks. I'll see you on the next big one.